on this GameStop Robinhood controversy, does the administration, or do you think the administration or the SEC or CFTC, whatever it is, should start to poke around?
Well, first of all, I'm trying to digest the idea of being a kid. It's been a long time, but thank you, Sully. So when I was a CNBC commentator, I would bite off a question like this and chew it up and throw it back at you. Now I'm part of a big team, and the key point of your question for me is SEC, Security and Exchange Commission. It is their job, not mine, to comment on market movements, especially daily, especially individual stocks. The SEC is on the case, and they'll be reporting in. In fact, they've already released a statement on this, which I commend to viewers. I think the important thing from our perspective is that the Biden administration is looking past day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month ups and downs in the stock market. You know, it is not a scorecard for us. And while lots of growth has occurred at the top of the K-shaped recovery, if you will, we still have very significant problems with hunger, evictions, joblessness, wage losses for those in the bottom half of the K. So, you know, yes, we're always going to watch GDP and unemployment, but if it's not reaching the bottom half, our work is cut out for us.
Do you think 1.9 trillion is still the number, given that we are seeing 1 million vaccines plus rolled out, that there is some optimism we can, quote, reopen maybe a lot faster than some of the more dire estimates out there?
Yeah, I think that is the right number. And I think if you sum up what it takes to finally put this virus behind us, both in terms of virus control, testing, tracing, masking, PPEs, but equally important and especially compelling right now, production and distribution of the vaccine, reopening schools, making sure states and localities have the resources they need while we match this down payment that occurred in the December package. Now, we know, for example, that unemployment insurance from the December package peters out in March. There is no estimate I've seen that comes anywhere close to suggesting that that need will be obviated by then. So, right. So this is an amply sized package to once and for all hit this thing hard and finally put this in the rearview mirror. This dual crisis, COVID, pandemic, the economy, we've got to wrestle them both together. And I think the package is up to that.
Yeah, I agree with that, Jared. And we all want our kids to be safe. Let's focus on the schools. Something I've been focused. Anybody with a kid out there, by the way, is thinking about this. We talk about this $170 billion for schools. We want schools to be safe, but I'm guessing this money is for the next pandemic, because by the time we institute new HVAC systems and buy all the gear starting now, and the checks are cut, it's going to be years from now, is it not? I mean, you can't put new HVAC systems on schools in the next 3 or 4 months.
I think that ventilation in schools is going to be important within the next 3 or 4 or 5 and 6 and 9 and 10 months. So I would push back a bit on that. Look,
what's important now, Jared, I'm saying, is getting them built. I'm saying that the vaccines, at the worst case scenarios, we're looking at Labor Day probably to get everybody who wants to be vaccinated. Because remember, a big part of the country says they're not going to do it, and you pretty much can't force them. So you're looking at probably summer. So I'm just...
Look, Sully, the way to look at this is not as if you hit summer and a light switch goes from off to on. This is much more of a dimmer switch play. And thus far, we've kind of taken the advice that's implicit in your comments, which is do something, wait and see. And look, we just have not gotten ahead of this. I think one of the reasons why we had a negative handle on December jobs, one of the reasons why disposable income, while up for the year, was actually down in the last quarter, is because we took a wait and see attitude on the December relief package. And we just can't do that anymore. We have to get ahead of this with the magnitudes that we're proposing.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.